and you see a space that you want to hit. So while you're driving along, you can select your automatic parking button. And at this point, it starts to record, or not record, but measure the spaces, right? There's a space that we can get into. This space that we just passed is big enough for both parallel and perpendicular, if you want, okay? So let's go ahead and keep going. Let's say, you know what, I don't want that space, I want this one right here. So all you have to do is drive past it to, again, have the system confirm for you.
A little right, but you look good.
Confirm for you that it is big enough. So select the perpendicular space, foot off the brake, foot off the gas, and hands off the wheel. So it reads, again, the space that it's given, not only left to right, side by side here on the cars that you're pulling into, but also the space up here. So it's going to pull forward right now, but if there were cars parked in this row of spots in front of us, it would do more turns to get there, right? It would have less space to work with. All right, so again, just like the backup and the parallel park, you have to watch the mirrors, you have to stop the car if something jumps in the way or gets in the way. It won't stop for you, okay? And with a space this tight, it's going to read the cars, it's going to center in between the two cars. If the cars were further apart and you could actually see the white lines, it'll put you in the middle of the space, all right? If one of those cars is at an angle, right, not parked very well, it'll take the shortest space between the two cars and center you in there. It won't angle the parking, okay? So it's pretty intuitive in terms of that. Again, it reads the space that's given, and it wants you to be parked correctly so that both side doors, front and side doors, can open up together, okay? All right, so we didn't do the hill yet, did we?
No.
Didn't know.
Okay. We'll do the hill, and then we'll come back and do parallel park, all right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to record that still. This is our e-ticket. Everybody loves this, right?
That is
Hands
pretty
up,
steep.
hands up, like a roller coaster. And here we go.
Holy
All right,
crap.
straight up.
That is scary.
Straight up into the wild blue.
All right.
All right. We'll hold it right about there. Right about there. How about that? All right. We also have a auto hold, which is kind of cool. Select the auto hold button there, and I can take my foot literally off the brake.
Whoa.
It doesn't even lurch. It just holds it tight right there. Okay.
Nice.
Now, hill descent mode right here. The single button in front of the console turns on the system. There's an icon that shows that it's on right there. The cool thing about this particular system is that you can dictate what, or set the speed that you want to carry down the hill, and it'll hold that speed. That's the whole purpose for it, okay? So with this toggle switch right here, I can change the speed. There's a little gray line right there that moves as I change the speed. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and keep it at 2 miles an hour because I don't get paid enough to go 20 miles an hour down this hill. Take off the auto hold, and as soon as I come off the brakes, it's just steering. Everything else is controlled by the electronic braking, okay? Here we go. So foot off the brake, and just let the system control the speed at 2 miles an hour like I've asked for. And as we roll down the hill, it's holding, and as the angle starts to change, it still holds that 2 miles an hour. And then right when the rear wheels touch the ground and go flat, that's when it releases super smooth.
Nice.
Okay? All right, let's go back and do the parallel one more time here, guys.
Hey, we're on that. You see that huge ramp, like a roller coaster ramp? Yep, we're in a car right next to it.
There's always one guy, right, in the whole group?
Yeah. We'll be done in like 3 minutes. All right, bet.
All right.
Sorry.
No worries.
You're that
Just
guy.
teasing you.
I am that guy, yes.
So again, if you didn't have it selected while you're driving along the street, you could just go ahead and select it in real time. It doesn't have to be stopped and set and all that, right?
Oh, I see.
So again, first thing it does is it starts to measure the distances, the space between the cars, confirms for you whether or not the space is big enough. You have to pass the space for it to finish its calculation, and there's our parallel spot. Okay. So simply select the spot, say okay to the lawyers that you're responsible for what you're doing, and hands and feet off the brake and gas. It does everything for you at this point. Okay.
That's crazy.
So as I mentioned before, it does not require a curb, but if it did have a curb, it would put you exactly 6 to 8 inches off that curb, parallel. It doesn't even need a car behind us. It only needs the car that's in front that you're turning around, right? It needs that inside car, if you will. It'll stop us 2.5 to 3 feet from the car in front. It doesn't care what the space is to the car behind, right? You can do it on the right. You can do it on the left. You can do it in the dark. Whatever. So when you use the system to get into a space, even if that space has changed, the cars in front and rear have moved and new cars have come and they've given you less or more space, whichever, you can still use the system to get out by hitting your automatic parking button, selecting the exit arrow, and again, hands and feet off, and it'll basically maneuver the car and position it so that you can drive out. It won't drive out for you, it's not autonomous driving, but it'll position you ready to go. You have to watch the mirrors. If people are stepping off the curb behind you, you've got to hit the brakes. If a car comes up here on your left, obviously you need to be aware of that as well. Last thing it does is it turns the wheel, ready for you to pull out. That little chime says it's done. It's in drive. It's holding drive. It's not park. It's holding you in drive. And all you have to do is look at your mirrors and touch the gas.
Nice.
And off you go.